Good morning from downtown Tucson. Pretty sweet area right here. Just wanted to show you guys. Good morning, doing the walk. And I have been busy and under the weather and all of this, and I just wanted to check in and say hello. And I miss you all. And man, I've been listening to some cool stuff and kind of planning my next whatever my next chapter is, right? And this morning, listening on my walk, kind of something pops in my head, so I'll research it. And today it was the saying, know your opponent's argument better than they do, right? And I always thought it was attributed to Clarence Darrow, a famous trial attorney who defended Leopold and Loeb. But it actually goes back a little bit to Abraham Lincoln, and I thought that the moral of the story this morning was the Abraham Lincoln quote. I thought was really awesome in the sense that he said when he's preparing for trial, one thing Abraham Lincoln was known for was preparing for trial and being doggedly prepared for trial. And what he said was, he says, I'll spend 2/3 of my time thinking about what they're going to say and 1/3 of my time thinking about what I'm going to say, right? So I thought that was a great way to think about life right now. My problem has always been that I don't listen, right? And so I challenged myself to listen better. And some of my friends, and maybe you'll see this video, will attribute to that. But think about going through today and trying to understand what whoever it is out there 2/3 of the time, and think about what you're gonna say, do, or whatever 1/3 of the time, and it might actually just blow your mind how much joy you get, right? It might blow your mind how many less arguments, less edgy everybody out there might be, right? It really might blow your mind. I was walking, I'm on City Hall property right now in Tucson. I was walking yesterday and bumped into the guy who maintains a certain area. I don't want to get into specifics, but he was kind of upset and feeling that people around here, just don't respect the city. Right? They just don't respect the city, and they disrespect and dirt, grime. I won't go into the details, but what he said too was that he spent 20 years in Japan, and he's like, if you're in a downtown Tokyo and you need to go to the bathroom, you leave your iPad, a laptop right there. It'll be there when you come back. You could leave it there for a week and it'll be there for. He said you could leave a pack of brand new cigarettes on the park bench, and it'll be there for a week. Nobody will pick it up, right? And you don't want to talk about clean. Well, I walk downtown Tucson every day. I'm here right now. And what I'll tell you is I think it's pretty well maintained down here. There's other areas of the city that wouldn't say that, but I would say it's pretty well maintained, particularly compared to other major cities, right? And so I said that to him, and I said, well, go look at Seattle, go look at San Francisco, go look at some other cities right now that are really struggling. I mean, I came from Colorado. Denver, I know, was struggling with this, like a homeless population and just lack of figuring out a problem. Okay, I don't want to take sides here, say that law enforcement's the problem or whatever, because, I digress. But he kind of did this look in his head and said, you might be right. As I look around, it's pretty nice here. It really is. And yeah, there's homeless folks, but it's not so disrespectful as I've seen where they're setting up camp right here in downtown, like anywhere they want, kind of thing. And I think there's a lot of folks like him. He spent a lot of time in education. He's taken I don't want to say he's probably taken a pay cut, but he couldn't get a job and education and this, that, and the other, right? So we had a great connection, you know, with somebody. I'd probably seen the guy, I don't even know, right? I was here before he even got hired. So I just want to show this part. This is the courtyard where there's a guy, he opens up all those little tables with the sunshades open for people to come out here and eat lunch. It's really cool. I'm gonna flip it here too. This is the fountain, you know, so this is how mostly time is, you know. There's folks here taking care of things, you know. This is what it looks like, I would say. And then look at this over here. This is the city hall, you know, and people come here and they have weddings and all kinds of stuff. Cool fountain. So I guess what I'm saying is there's perspective, right? All it is perspective, you know. Like, I think a lot of times we look at our own little bubble and 100% of the time, and we're not looking at the other 2/3 of the way the rest of the world works. Number one, how thankful I am to be able to just walk downtown, you know, and have a cool area. You know, it's not perfect, but look at right there's a trash can. There's a trash can right behind that trash can. So they're all purple. They're labeled. It gives you a map there. You know, I would suggest Tucson for sure. If you want to go visit someplace that has a lot of history, it's a crazy amount of food here, you know. And I can see where living in Tucson, I can see where people that are from here for whatever reason, you get a lot of folks that end up here taking care of somebody, and that usually ends up in them dying, I have to admit, right? So, you know, I think there might be a situation where we have a gem here and we're healing, and we just, you know, it's pretty nice, right? Affordable housing is also what I would say. You know, it all depends on what you're into, kind of thing. The only thing that this place doesn't have for me is my family. And that's literally, I would say, the only thing that this place doesn't and won't have, because my family's not moving here. And, you know, all of my family, when I say my family, have kids. So it's, you know, it's really tough for them to uproot, right? So I have a choice. Do I want to be thousands of miles away from my family and miss out a lot of the growing up phase? Or do I want to manage my property here, right? And so that's where we're all going to have to probably, once again, reevaluate, you know. But I think that what I would like to leave here is think about today, 1/3 yourself and 2/3 whatever's going on out there, right? 1/3 yourself and 2/3 maybe what's giving you problems, or what do you perceive to give you problems, right? Put yourself in somebody else's viewpoint. I don't believe you can put yourself in somebody else's shoes, because we all wear different shoes and we've all had different experiences. But you can attempt to look at it from their perspective. And that's the message here. It was actually Charlie Munger that said, when I'm, you know, looking into investment or a business, I want to know their position better than they do, right? And that's how I've always looked at it. And I can see where now I've maybe become a little bit argumentative in some people's viewpoints, because I'm trying to point out the other side of the story, and then maybe I'm not using the best tact in that sense. But yeah, I believe we already know a little bit our viewpoint. We know our viewpoint almost too well, right? We need to think about other people's viewpoint in order to see blind spots, or I think that's really the step one. How is it that you see something different than me, right? So start to build your knowledge and argument of them, not you, right, today. And this is crazy coming from me, right? But yeah, more to come. We're going to talk about shining your light. We're going to talk about how to build a lighthouse. But today I want you to just think about making their argument, whatever they're going to say or do, as well or better than them. Take and spend a little bit of time, like Abraham Lincoln did, thinking about what they're going to say before you say it. I would love to hear any stories of that. You walk into a situation, something said or done, and you're gonna say something, right? Wait 2/3 as much as you can before you're gonna say something. Get the data, right? Try to, if they're not there, try to think about what happened there, what they're gonna say, what their viewpoint on it is, right? Because I think that's gonna need to be step one. We need to learn how to not be angry at each other, start having compassion, and switching from anger to compassion makes you smarter. We'll get into the data on that too, but that's your Tuesday tidbit. Had to just make this video. Love you all.